project, or this particular lecture, is on Indian medical women who operated the child welfare centers in Madras. Now, I know some of you in the audience know Madras very well. Madras, here in the South, was started when the British, or actually at that point it was the English East India Company, received permission from the Mughal Emperor to trade from Surat on the west coast. But in 1639, 2 decades after the Pilgrims landed on Cape Cod, the English East India Company received the village of Madras Putnam. It was a small piece of territory, 6 miles long, 2 miles wide, on the east coast of India. And they were to construct a factory, which is a place where you would store goods before you ship them out, because you didn't want to buy your goods when the ship was in, because of course local merchants would raise the price. Now, within this very small strip of 6 miles, and I forgot a pointer, very small strip of 6 miles long, 2 miles wide, there was the so-called White Town, which was around, you can see up there, hopefully, Fort St. George. And that was where the fort was, the administrative headquarters, the commercial headquarters of the company. North of the fort was what was called Blacktown. That's where Indians, Armenians, and Chinese traders resided. Blacktown was renamed Georgetown when the King Emperor George V visited in 1911, and he went to Blacktown as well as Whitetown, and then it was renamed Georgetown. So that was the layout, and that was where Madras first started. Child welfare centers started up in Georgetown, and then further down here at Triplicane and Royapeta. So they were more or less in the center of the city. They were in slum areas. Now, just a few slides about Madras. This is down at Mahabalipuram, the Shore Temple, which is a very ancient enclave of about 700 Common Era. The Portuguese came. This is on St. Thomas Mount, where St. Thomas, the apostle, supposedly came. A view from St. Thomas Mount. It's very, very flat. Just a view of St. Thomas Street in Fort St. George to give you an idea of what it was like. And in the early 19th century and still into the later 19th century. One of the things about Madras, it did not have a natural harbor, so it really wasn't good for shipping, but the British settled there first as their colonial port city because they got the land from the local ruler. But here we see everything had to be offloaded far out from land. And then people would be brought in these ships, and you would get quite wet, and you could fall into the ocean. So that by the 19th century, Bombay has surpassed, Bombay and Calcutta have both surpassed Madras. Oh, and I just tossed these in because there have been connections between Madras and the United States. First, Yale University. That was founded by someone who was a private trader and really was trading illegally. And then the British company, which had the monopoly on the trade, said, okay, we'll make him respectable, and they made him governor of Madras. So it was like to catch a thief, take a thief, and into the structure. And he gave the money to found Yale in that new colony. And then this is the ice house. It's now been restored. There were some enterprising British subjects who had left what became the United States after the Revolution, and they came to India, and they would, in Massachusetts, they would cut ice in the winter, store it in sawdust, and then bring it all the way in ships to Madras, where it was called white gold, because it was so hot in Madras that people would want to have ice in their drinks. I don't know what it would do to your health system, but anyway, they would pay highly for it. So there were okay, another ones, more. Now, there was a new harbor put in, man-made harbor, but Madras became known more for its educational institutions and sort of is a sleepy town. And then it has the largest beach in the world within municipal limits, the so-called marina. Okay, now, Georgetown, just to give you an idea of the crowded conditions in Georgetown. And these pictures are photographs from the end of the 20th century, beginning of the 21st century. Vegetable market. And then this is another thing which shows you something about the nature of Madras. It attracted people from a variety of language groups, from a variety of areas. And Tamil is at the top, then English, and then Telugu. And as those from Professor Jenkins' class know, Tamil and Telugu are Dravidian languages not related to the Indo-European languages of the north. Okay, now we're to child welfare centers. The child welfare centers, the discussion of maternal and infant health started in the 19-teens when some Indian municipal politicians and medical professions became concerned about what they saw as dramatically high infant and maternal mortality rates. And equally important at this time was that by the end of the 19-teens, you had major reforms which enabled Indians to become a majority on the municipal councils. And in Madras, by 1920, there was an Indian majority on the council, and an Indian was president of the council instead of a British colonial officer. So Indians are feeling okay, and the British inaugurated these reforms because they thought Indians should have an opportunity to learn how to run a government, and then gradually they could move up on the provincial level, and eventually, and I saw documents that in 1927, 28, during the Simon Commission, for those who are political scientists, they were projecting, okay, well, we'll do this by 1957, and then 1987 we'll do this, and maybe in 2007 we will give independence. So the British did not expect to give independence as quickly as it came. Now, and we'll see, you know, in the United States too, people start off on the municipal level, and then they try to get to the state level, and then possibly go forward from that to national level. In 1917, the Council of the Corporation of Madras first discussed the establishment of the Child Welfare Center. K.C. Deskachar asserted, a member of the council, that the object of the child welfare scheme is, if possible, to reduce the infantile mortality in various ways by giving advice to expectant mothers, looking after the child for 1 year after it's born. Now, G.A. Knudsen, who was a Brahmin member, and I should probably say, just to refresh your memory, that in Madras, you had Brahmins at the top, you had very few of the intermediary varnas, very few Kshatriyas, very few Vaishyavas. You had Shudras who were in a hierarchy. There were some at the top and there were some at the bottom. And then you had a very large percentage of so-called depressed classes. So you have Brahmins at the top, and then you don't have these intermediary Varna groups. So Knudsen, a Brahmin, claimed every civilized municipality in the West has these health visitors. In Calcutta and Bombay, it has been considered the best medium for putting a sort of brake upon the abnormal increase in infant mortality. So these members of council in Madras articulated two goals: lowering infant mortality and competing with other port capitals, namely Madras, Bombay, and Calcutta. And when I started this research, I thought it's sort of like Cincinnati, because we talk about, we have some of the worst infant mortality rates in the state. And so people, urban centers are always vying for, you know, the title of the healthiest, the prettiest, the, you know, nicest city in the United States or wherever.